I would drive up and literally I would get to where you turned in to go to the corporate, and immediately I would get like clammy. I would get sick to my stomach, and just dread would come over my whole body.
No, why?
Because it was just a toxic environment. It was, you never knew what was going to happen. It all depended on the owner of the company, whether he was in a good mood or a bad mood that day. If he was in a good mood, then he could be giving shit away for free. He could be doing nice things for you, but 9 times out of 10, he was in a bad mood, and he was pissed about something, and he was going to tell you about it, take it out on you, and tell you what a piece of shit you were. And it didn't matter if you were number 1 in sales. He could ask you, how much are Q-tips? I'm not sure.
Just some random product out of the catalog.
Yeah, some random product. And if you didn't know, he would sit there and berate you in front of everybody. I mean, that's just a minor example. I think I've blocked it all out, honestly, but it's berating. He was totally a sexist pig. I mean, and he worked in a company of probably 85% women, so it still amazes me the way he talked to some people. And
no one's ever filed a lawsuit and said,
yeah, like if anybody recorded our meetings or our, anything having to do with him, I'm sure he would get into some trouble.
Well, who's in charge of HR? Who would you go to for that?
Oh, that would be his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like we're recording. You know where you are. You're at Lani and Lani's podcast. All the things with Lani and Lani. Today we have a very special guest. You know who it is?
I don't know.
My next guest is a smart and beautiful woman with a quiet ambition, and my day isn't done until I'm what?
I get an intro?
I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay. As you were.
Oh my God, you're going to cut me off through that? Then I'm going to have to go to our show sponsor. This episode is brought to you by the Afterlife Sportswear. Winning isn't everything, but even in the afterlife, you can still look your best doing it. Dress the part with our favorite hundreds and hundreds of tracksuits, designer tennis shoes, assorted gauge size 14 karat gold necklaces, baggy jerseys, knee-high socks, shorts and below-the-knee shorts, short and shorts, below-the-knee shorts, and a wide range of obnoxious color combinations to choose from. Shop www. You're not dead, but still got game.
Wow. I think that needs a lot of work.
Well, that's my first sponsor.
I wasn't even aware we had a sponsor.
Well, that's the first one anyway. So may I continue? Our next guest, whenever she gets here, is a smart and beautiful woman with a quiet ambition, and my day isn't done until I am done. Drive. I am here to toot her own horn, toot toot, since she won't ever do it herself. She has been told that she has resting bitch face, and it is intimidating, but I can assure you that is those looking upon her, they are intimidated by her beauty and their own insecurities. Whenever she gets here, you can ask her. She has risen through her career in the hair and nail product supply industry, from a store manager, then to become a traveling sales rep, then to becoming number 1 in sales for the same company for 3 fucking years in a row in her division, before being selected to be placed in the hospitality division, which again was a step up. While maintaining this career, she then started out on her own with her sister-in-law's business, doing party setups for birthdays, anniversaries, and baby showers, etc. Adding also her own twist to the business since COVID hit, of getting up at 5 a.m. to deliver yard signs for birthdays and anniversaries. She, for 3 years, while her corporate job made its changes with COVID, and the company lost further and further appreciation for its staff, she lost fire for her career and spent more time growing the company and building the sign and party business. Add to that working out 3 to 4 times per week, 2 children ages 5 and 8, a husband, and now a podcast once per week. Many, many times I have seen this woman passed out, mouth agape in the chair at night around 10 p.m., not from playing Candy Crush or Words with Friends, but from pure exhaustion. Sorry, corporate world, you lost one of your prize-winning ponies due to neglect, but the world will now receive the full benefit of her charm, character, and care of her work for others. Please welcome to my podcast, my wife, Lani Quit.
I guess that's me. Oh, now I know how everybody feels when you talk about them. That's nice.
Was it?
Yeah.
You're going to question my research methods and all that stuff?
How do you know so much about me?
I read it in a paper.
That is absolute bullshit. I do not fall asleep with my mouth hanging open.
No, but you're just like my dad, and everybody else's dad. You sit there until I change the channel, then what are you doing? Open your eyes, pop your eyes back open. What's going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, regardless, I'm proud of you, and this is a podcast about you, and stop looking at my questions.
Thank you. I will.
I
don't know where to look.
You're going to be a great guest. They're not here. The camera isn't here, so don't even look.
Well, I know,
it's
but
just you and me.
I know, but if I look in this direction, then I'm
just look wherever you look. If it's upper left or upper right, whenever you're making up stories or thinking upon, reflecting upon. Isn't there a FBI tell thing or face thing where people look up to the left if they're telling stories, and they look to the right if they're talking the truth, or they're looking down if they're looking at their shoes? Didn't catch that, did you?
I'll just be careful.
So, you recently quit the job, the job.
I did. Full-time job that I had for next month. It would have been 15 years.
So that's how long you would have been in that career.
Yes.
So I know I already mentioned it, but can you tell everybody what you did first, and then your transitions?
So my mom is a salon owner, so I've been involved in the salon business my whole life, and I was managing her salon right out of college, and our sales rep from this same company came in, and he said, are you still looking for a job? I said, I am. He said, well, our store in Michigan is hiring for a store manager. It's like, it's salary, it's benefits. I think it'd be perfect. Okay, that sounds good. I'll apply. Well, long story short, I got that job, and I managed that store for a couple of years, I believe. And then I moved to their bigger store in Ohio that was closer to me once they built that one and expanded it. And I managed that one for another few years. So I think it was 5 years total I did that. Then I got to the point where I was ready to lose my damn mind because it was so boring. There was, many days I worked alone by myself and would just sit and read a book, or I just had zero purpose. I tried to offer to do things to keep myself busy because it was just mind-numbing, really. So we had the sales rep that was in our area quit, and they were looking for somebody, and I thought, well, why couldn't I do that? Although in the back of my head, I was thinking, you can't do that. You're shy, you're quiet, you can't go in and talk to people you don't know. I mean, I've been around the products, I've been around the hair industry since I was born. I used to sit in my mom's customers' laps while she did their hair, so I know it inside and out, but I was nervous as hell. My parents were like, what the hell are you thinking? You're going to be straight commission, so you have no security, and 2, you're going to be driving all day long. And because you guys probably don't know yet, I am the world's worst driver.
One of the worst world's drivers.
So.
One of the worst. World's worst drivers.
Yeah. So, needless to say, they weren't super excited for me. But all in all, it was a great decision to move into that new path because I did really well with it. Wasn't your typical sales rep that would try to sell you a bunch of shit you didn't need. I built relationships up with these people and, built their trust and only talked to them about things I knew they needed or would want and could benefit from. And so that lasted almost 10 years. Doing that.
I can't believe that you drove around. It's hard to believe you were on the road for 10 years.
I know.
I think you went through 3 vans. Well, one was a piece of crap Equinox, and then the other 2 were minivans because God loved the minivan.
Yes. Yeah, my car would be full of papers and samples and just all kinds of shit. It was a disaster. My house was filled with papers and shit samples and
books and
more shampoo than you could use in a lifetime. And yeah, it took over my life very quickly. I was, getting calls from people at all hours of the day. I'd have, not to call out people, but hairdressers would go out, get drunk, and decide, oh, hey, you know what? I need to call my rep because I need something. And she's my friend, so she's not going to care.
I'll call her at 12 o'clock on a Friday or even 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
I'll text. I'll leave a message, whatever. And so, I felt like in order to grow my business, because it was a very teeny territory that they gave me, in order to grow it, I needed to be available at all hours. Not saying that I answered the phone at 2 a.m., but from the minute I woke up till the minute I went to bed, I was on my phone responding to people, putting in orders, answering emails, answering texts, putting out fires. Drove you crazy.
I say fires that weren't even your problem. It was hairdressers with 5 or 6 different credit cards that were maxed out, and it was your fault that the order didn't go through, or they didn't get it on the Tuesday that they thought because
FedEx fucked up their order, and that was my problem. They happened to call the call center for an order, and they screwed it up, and it became my problem. Or we were out of stock on an item because nobody ever kept on top of that, and that was my problem. So yeah, and for somebody who takes everything very, very personally, that was very hard because every time someone would get mad at me, I couldn't just brush it off that it's just part of their job. I would take that to heart, and it made me a very anxious person. I feel like it put tension between us a lot of the time because I was always stressed out. I was really always in a bad mood. I mean, I hated being on the road long hours. There was a time where I liked what I did and parts of my job that I loved what I did, but it was a lot of hard work and a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't realize and see. And, they want to say, oh, well, you're getting a good paycheck, so what do you care? Okay, well, sometimes paycheck isn't worth your sanity and your relationships and the headaches. It's just not.
I'll say one of the questions I forgot to write down or make a note of was your ability to get a relationship with customers. I felt like that was like your number one goal, but also your number one attribute that they would want you for. And I think that's what made you rise to the top and stay there for as long as you did. Just because you gave it that personal touch, and you weren't like a normal sales rep where it was, hey, we got sales this month. You need to get this and this and this. I'm going to sign you up for this and this and this. Push, 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 push.
Yeah, no.
You were never that pushy.
And I wasn't a huge like going and cold call time after time after time after time after time. Like, if you don't want to buy stuff from me, that's fine. There's a million other people out there that are going to be willing and want to work with me. So I'm not going to come in and waste my time and my breath. And that's just something I didn't do. I would rather build on the relationships that I had with people and get them to switch their color line over to me or get a new retail line from me, and I had several customers that, the majority of their business was just me and my products. And, I think that's something that I might be skipping ahead here, but the owner of the company, I think, doesn't realize that they were buying from the people, not necessarily the company all the time. So, some of these people, they knew me from the time I was pregnant with Jackson to after having Vivi, and they remember my pregnancies, and I don't know, I probably have told you this story. You've even met this customer, but I had a customer that I went in and hair chalk was the craze. You would literally just put this chalk in your hair to add color. It was like fun for kids or whatever.
Just for kids, or
well, adults would do it too, but it was, I don't know, it was probably like 8 or 9 years ago. It was really popular. So I went in and was going to sell her this, and she always liked the new, fun, trendy things. Obviously, I didn't know this because I was cold calling her, but I told her about it, and she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll order some of that. And I was like so excited that, I go in for a cold call and make a sale. And then she asked if we had any classes. And so the next time I went in, I brought her a list of classes. And I think it was like 3 visits in, and I came in one day and she's like, I need to switch color lines. I'm like, okay, well, let me go get my books and we can talk about it. And she's like, no, I don't care what you sell. I just want whatever you're selling. And I thought, wow, she said, I really don't care. It's hair color. We'll figure it out. But I want you as my rep. And that meant the world to me. And she was one of my top customers all the way until the end. She messaged me after I left and said, please, please, please come back. This is a shit show without you. And, made me smile, made me happy that, it was actually me that she liked. And yeah, she liked our products or whatever, but it was me that kept her coming back.
So do you think you probably got more appreciation from a handful of customers versus anybody in the company, probably?
Oh, yeah.
I'll hold off on the company policies and things like that, but I just wanted to touch on that and give you kudos and props for building the relationships you did, because you and I are both the same way. We've talked about it before about being people pleasers, and we're kind of getting away from that and just saying, screw you, we're doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know yet because we're not that far into it, but to see if we're completely happy with that or not. But
yeah,
it's still a lot less anxiety thinking about what is so-and-so going to think, I got to say this or I got to do that so so-and-so can be happy about it.
Yeah, it is. It's
just that people-pleasing mentality.
It's hard, but for sure when you're doing sales, I think you have to have that.
So describe to everybody your work conditions, the travels, the meetings, the conference calls, annual meetings, team leaders.
That's like that's a huge question. It
encompasses your work.
I know, but
travel.
Where do you want me to start?
Start with travel. You started out with this and ended up with...
Yeah, so I started out with pretty much Toledo, Ohio, and the surrounding cities, a little bit up into Michigan.
Mile radius, how big was it?
Maybe 45-mile radius from where I lived. So then I thought, well, I've got, all the salons I want in this area. Rather than trying to sit and grow every single salon, in each city, why don't I go to a bigger city? So that's when I came up with Cleveland. And I, went to my boss, do you care if I call in Cleveland? Now, mind you, we had our set of sales reps, and then we had another set, which was called the hospitality reps. The hospitality reps pretty much worked from home, and they traveled far, on airplanes and things, to get to their clients when they needed meetings, which were, quarterly or once a month or whatever they needed to be. But they were bigger, high-end
large accounts,
resorts, multi-location places. So I knew there was, our hospitality division called on some of the people in Cleveland. So I don't want to step on any toes, but, I'd like to go out there. Sure. If you want to go out there, go out there. So, I go out there and I get a couple of big accounts out there. And, that's a whole nother story. I don't know how far you want me to go, but.
Well, just your travel.
So, I would travel to Cleveland. I had accounts in Cincinnati. I had, accounts about an hour or so up into Michigan. There pretty much wasn't anywhere I wouldn't travel. When it got to where it was like I was traveling long distance every day, then I started cutting it back and I would try to work from home more and maybe go out to those places once a month instead of an every other week rotation.
Yeah, so you were traveling to Cleveland
twice a month usually.
Twice a month, but it was more frequent than that, wasn't it? When you were trying to get,
yeah,
basically going out there driving
once a week.
2 hours and 2 hours back. And while you're out there, you're just kind of skipping the loo, just bouncing from salon to salon, just kind of, hi, my name's Lani and I'm a sales rep.
Yeah.
Hoping for business.
With basically zero tools on how to do it, or, I was never trained on how to go out and talk to salons. I went from the store, and because they thought, well, you've been with this company 5 years, they gave me about a half a day of training how to enter orders in. That was the extent of my training. So,
we'll say, describe to me the feelings that you always got right before you're ready to go into a place.
Into a salon?
Yeah.
Oh. I was a nervous wreck.
Cold call.
Yeah, I hated cold calls. I was nervous wreck. I would literally sit in my car and have to talk myself up for a good 15 minutes. And
that's sitting right out in front of the salon in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got my catalog. Okay, I got a paper of deals when we had those. Okay, got my business card. Okay, I'm going to try to talk to this person. I just had to hype myself up and I'd be like, does this even look like a good account? What kind of products do they have in the window? I could talk myself in a circle and drive right out too. I've done that before. But then it got to the point where I was like, screw it. What's the worst they can say is no thanks, or give me some line of bullshit or whatever. So by the last few years, I got more confident and I would pull up and just grab my shit and go in. But in the beginning, it was hard because I didn't have any training. I didn't have any, was like, here you go. Good luck. That was basically what I got.
Except all the materials. They just gave you materials and said, here, make up your own story with it.
Well, we got training at monthly meetings. Our vendors would come in and give us these long, lengthy presentations that bored everybody to death and was a complete waste of an entire day and that sort of thing. But that was, we got product knowledge, but not actual job training.
All right. So tell me about the meetings. Let's just say the quarterly meetings. We'll start there.
Like the big ones with the whole company?
No, just let's say the conference calls. We'll combine the meetings and the conference calls.
So we would, at one point, I think we were having conference calls once a week on Mondays because most everybody worked from home on Mondays. And then once a month, we'd have to drive up to our corporate, which for me was about an hour and a half away. And we'd have to drive up there and stay for the entire day and then drive home at the end of the day. And that was normally on Mondays because we all worked from home on Mondays, but that was my busiest day. So I'm sitting there in the meeting getting calls and calls and calls and orders and orders and orders, and I can't do anything. And mind you, if we're not putting orders in, we're not getting paid. So it was a whole day of sitting there basically not getting paid, which was just so frustrating because we never really took anything away from the meetings. They were a huge waste of time. But literally would walk. Yeah, that's our cat.
My God.
And that's his tail on your face.
It's my lovely shawl. My lovely scarf. Cooper, you're such a douche. Would you get out of the way? Anyhow.
But, I would drive up there. I'd have to leave super early in the morning and drive in. And I guess you didn't know this until recently, but I would drive up and literally I would get to where you turned in to go to the corporate, and immediately I would get like clammy. I would get sick to my stomach, and just dread would come over my whole body.
No, why?
Because it was just a toxic environment. You never knew what was going to happen. It all depended on the owner of the company, whether he was in a good mood or a bad mood that day. If he was in a good mood, then he could be giving shit away for free. He could be doing nice things for you, but 9 times out of 10, he was in a bad mood, and he was pissed about something, and he was going to tell you about it, take it out on you, and tell you what a piece of shit you were. And it didn't matter if you were number 1 in sales. He could ask you, how much are Q-tips? I'm not sure.
Just some random product out of the catalog.
Yeah, some random product. And if you didn't know, he would sit there and berate you in front of everybody. I mean, that's just a minor example. I think I've blocked it all out, honestly, but it's berating. He was totally a sexist pig. I mean, and he worked in a company of probably 85% women, so it still amazes me
that
the way he talked to some people. And
no one's ever filed lawsuit and said,
yeah, like if anybody recorded our meetings or anything having to do with him, I'm sure he would get into some trouble.
Well, who's in charge of HR? Who would you go to for that?
Oh, that would be his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how far would that have gone?
Yeah, it wouldn't have. So
you just pulled in around the corner and you're getting clammy, you're getting anxious, you're starting to sweat. What's driving you? Is it just, okay, let me get through this and I can get back to my normal life of sales rep and shit like that?
One day a month, I got to deal with this because then I can get back to doing what I do enjoy doing, and I'm making good money. I have good benefits. So that's what life's about, right? And I can't give that up just because I have a few uncomfortable days a month.
And that's that feeling once a month for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even know you went through that.
Yeah.
But I can completely understand it. I mean, you told me of various other examples. But you've had also underlings underneath the boss. Yes. Which was your supervisors, if you want to call it that, or
director of sales. Yeah, I mean, we had a few while I was there. Some were good. But I mean, the owner of the company would berate them just as much as he would berate all of us, and he'd do it right in front of us, and it's just so unprofessional. And it totally depended on his mood for the day. And most sales reps didn't last very long. Sales reps didn't last very long, and sales directors didn't last very long. It was like, there was a core group of us that were around, some, a lot longer than me even, and we just stuck through it, and we had each other to depend on and go to and talk to and vent to. And
well, some of you, but there were some of you that weren't team players. They were just out to get theirs, and they were part of the culture of the company, which was created from the top and then went down.
Yeah.
It's just like dickhead at the top, dickhead underling, dickhead supervisor. I mean, just trickled on from asshole all the way down.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had a male sales director that would repeatedly call us a bunch of bitches. I mean, when is that ever okay? When
the owner of the company says it's okay. And he does it himself.
Yeah. I mean, I got in numerous screaming matches with him because I refused to let anybody talk to me like that. And to the point where he would have me in tears. And I know that it made you just as angry because you couldn't do anything about it. And it was like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Like, I looked for a new job, you know, how many times?
You looked for countless jobs.
And just nothing ever panned out the way I wanted it to. It would have been taking a pay cut, which, you know, at one point I was doing really, really well. And I wasn't willing to give that up for a few uncomfortable days a month.
Well, and you'd be starting down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And everybody that came to you, which was mostly printers. We want you to sell printers.
Yeah,
I'm
or
like,
life insurance, or, you know, it's like...
I mean, to me, I guess I don't know where the top person goes. I've always had the impression that if you're the big dog at a company, people are going to try to come in and snap you out of that company. But you got approached by, like, sell our crayons, you know, just dumb shit like that. I mean, to me, it wasn't like on the level of where you were at.
No.
And
I mean, I could have done, you know, medical sales or things like that, but that just didn't excite me in the least. And I wasn't going to go for something I wasn't happy at to something that would make me less happy. So it was like I kept looking for something that would make me happier. And, you know, in the end, it was not working for somebody else. Not allowed to show my drink, apparently.
No, you're not.
They're not sponsoring us.
No. So what about the annual meetings? I know we kind of talked about just the quarterly ones, but...
Oh, Jesus Christ. So...
Wait, let me just preface this. So this whole podcast is to celebrate you moving on to bigger and better things, but it's also to help you get a lot of this shit off your chest. Because
yeah, and maybe, you know, other people out there are in a toxic work environment, and I don't know, maybe I will empower you to say, I don't fucking deserve this, and there is life outside of this job. This job does not define me, and, you know, I will never, ever let another job, not even my own business, define me the way that I did this job for so many years. I mean, I looked at it as I'm a loyal employee. Like, I've been here for almost 15 years. And yet that still wasn't good enough. He still could have cared less.
He cared less, and he never said your fucking name right.
No, it literally took me writing him a Christmas card and phonetically spelling my name out after about year 12 that he finally started saying my name right.
And mind you, those who are listening and watching, the annual meetings have people come up on stage, and he says your name. So that's 12 years that we had the opportunity to say your goddamn name right.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of those years, he was my direct boss. So he couldn't say, and still, up until I left, his wife didn't say my name right. So, yeah.
So, go into the annual meetings.
Well, let me preface it by saying the company as a whole is like going back to high school. Meaning, you have to do book reports. You have to donate blood. You have to go do, you know, a walk for American Cancer Society. You have to do community service, which I'm not saying any of those things by themselves are bad or wrong or terrible, but when you work for a company who requires those things on your time off when you're not getting paid to do them, and those things directly correlate with your bonus at the end of the year, or your standing with him at the end of the year, or the way he treats you at the end of the year, that's what's fucked up. That's what's wrong. I mean, I love reading, but dear God, I loathed it the whole time I was there because I had to do it. I had to, log into the computer and, you had to make sure you had so many points by the end of every quarter, or you'd be getting an email. Mind you, they say all of this stuff is not mandatory, but you would get hounded the week before the end of the quarter. Make sure you get your reports in, because they want all of their reports at the end of the quarter to look like, oh, we have all of these employees that are doing everything they're supposed to do. And all these employees love working here because they get to do all of this stuff. And so we'd have to do book reports. We had to do so many hours of community service, where if you were an hourly employee, you could go and get paid to do it. However, I am not. I am a commission person. If I don't work, I don't get paid. So I would have to go out and do community service for a whole day and not get paid, and leave my customers in the lurch and all of that. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing the community service, and I appreciate having that opportunity. But again, all of this stuff, you would then get a rating. You would literally get rated as a person in the company. And if you didn't have a 4.0, like a 4.0 grade average, like you're in high school, then you wouldn't get 100% of your bonus. But here's the kicker. We never got bonuses anyways. Very, very rarely. And I never knew if the rhyme or reason behind whether we got a bonus, because it was never based on our sales. It was never based on our performance. It was never based on anything work related.
Because he was already paying you guys so much.
Yes, because we made more than anybody else in the company, so we don't deserve to get a bonus. That was literally what my boss at the time told me.
I've heard so many stories of both sides of that, where people have left companies because they were making more money than their boss was because they were doing so well, but yet they capped them.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, any salesperson will tell you that they're motivated by money. And to say, okay, the whole company, he would call everybody out on stage. You'd come get your check. Come get your check. You'd do it in front of everybody. And then, sorry, you have to look at our cat's butthole right now. And then all of us salespeople would sit there. Guess we're not getting called. We'd have no heads up whether we were or we weren't. So you just sit there and feel like absolute shit in front of everybody, while they're all celebrating because they got thousands of dollars right before Christmas, and you didn't. And the meetings, he was super generous. He would, take you on some amazing experiences. But again, he came out more than one time and would say, well, this is all a tax write-off. So, it takes something away when you say that, like, you're doing it as a tax write-off, not because you genuinely appreciate the people that work there.
But he wasn't always that way.
No.
At some point, his train of thought shifted, and then it just went from appreciation and actually saying that stuff, you guys are my people, you're my company, you're the driving force, to you people suck, and this company is just going to shit because you guys are blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. He told us numerous times how terrible we were. We couldn't sell ice to an Eskimo. We couldn't, we could not do anything to satisfy him. Nothing. I had my best sales month ever, and it was, I think, the highest in sales rep history, notwithstanding the hospitality group. And he said, well, there's always room to improve. That was what I got. It's like, can we just celebrate for a moment? Like, just a moment. That's all I'm asking for. And, he told us relationships didn't matter. We were all full of bullshit. That's not why people buy something. So it was just a very toxic, negative environment. He would put on these annual, parties where he would fly us on an airplane to Cleveland, which literally I would drive up to Michigan and fly to Cleveland and then fly back to Michigan and drive back to Toledo. It was,
So you drove an hour to fly, probably 45 minutes.
Yes.
And then 45 minutes flight, and then an hour drive back.
Yes.
Yeah.
where then, he would take us out to dinner or to a show, which, with over 100 people, he would take this to. And so, on the outside, everybody's like, oh my gosh, you have the most amazing boss. He's just awesome. And it's like, okay, but this is all a show to make him look good, to make the company look good. And yeah, we're benefiting from it, but it doesn't feel good. Like, it just doesn't. And honestly, I dread going to that stuff. I mean, thankfully I had my core group of friends there, and, we'd be with each other and we'd enjoy our time and all of that. But again, it would be, okay, here he is passing out checks to everybody, and here we sit just twiddling our thumbs looking like jackasses. Like, just never made any sense.
Well, it would have been different had he even acknowledged the sales group.
Oh yeah, we never got a mention of any kind because we were the worst division in the entire place.
Yeah, as I say, the products that were being pushed were by you guys. His products, the other company's products that came through him. You were the driving force to his money coming in, and yet he still just...
It's because we weren't as good as Amazon was. Because he sold out and he put his products all on Amazon. And he could sell way more through Amazon than he ever could with us. So he didn't need us.
Get your mic back up.
So.
Well, and part of that too was the work environment up there. You didn't have to deal with it, but it was, like you said, a high school environment.
Yeah. I mean, it was cliques. He had his core group of people that he liked, that he would hang out with outside of work. But, even those people he would treat like shit a lot. And I mean, everybody would tell us when we'd, whine and complain or whatever that, well, at least you don't have to work in the office. At least you only have to come up here once a month. It's hell working here. I mean, he would berate women for what they were wearing and how they looked and how they dressed. And, I mean, I remember being at a Christmas party, and, we'd have a nighttime event, and then we'd wake up in the morning. It would be an overnight. We'd wake up in the morning and have breakfast. We're having breakfast, and one of the girls from another department was a younger girl, probably in her 20s. And he comes up to her and says, I really like that dress you wore last night. And she's like, oh, thanks. Well, if your wife ever wants to borrow it, she can. And he says, no, it's not going to look as good on her as it does you. Like, what a slime ball, piggish thing to say.
Yeah.
And, that girl probably just thought, well, he's my boss. I can't say anything.
Yeah, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Just laugh it off.
And he just had this way of, like, you literally felt like the biggest piece of shit when you were around him. At least I did. I mean, obviously I can't speak for everybody, but...
I think the guy above you, I don't remember his name, but it's not important, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think they're business people. There are people that are just like being in the military. You fuck with people. What's up, douche? What's up, fag? What's up? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But at some point, after being berated and belittled by him so much, I think even he got sick of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he fought back a lot. But, he was getting treated like shit. He was going through the same thing. So then he'd take it out on us. So I try not to take it personal, but it's like, if you're going to sit here and call me a bitch all the time and...
I say it was endless.
Yeah. I mean, every day it was like,
comment.
I'd say, okay, I need to close the sale. I need to do this. We're always fucking asking for something. Why are you always fucking asking for something? I'm like, because I'm trying to make money for all of us and trying to do my job. And I just need these things to do my job. And, you talked about capping, and he definitely capped me. At a point I was making probably my most, and I had a great customer that I found, that I developed. They were a great account for me, and one day I went to put an order in and my name was no longer in the account. And I called my boss. I said, what's going on? Oh, the owner moved that over to me. He didn't want you to have it anymore. And there was nothing I could do.
You're powerless, helpless.
So I literally just lost about 20 grand out of my paycheck for the year because of that. And I was just supposed to eat it.
I'm going to say, he did that a lot. He took accounts from other people.
And my boss didn't even bother to tell me that it was going to happen.
And he didn't stick up for you. He didn't say, Lani worked hard for that, blah, blah, blah. He just rolled over.
Yeah.
But that's the company culture. Like I said, it starts at the top. If you had a guy that was constantly giving you praises and, you're my people and you guys are doing such great things for me and the company and blah, blah, blah. We know a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
We know that they're out there.
I just wonder what it would have been like had I had that kind of environment.
Yeah. I don't think you would have left the field. I don't think.
Probably not.
You'd be happy as hell. And you would have moved up in the company like you were doing here. I mean, you were crawling through a minefield to get as far as you got over the years that it took you to do it. Had you been somewhere else where somebody was giving you even praises, I don't think you even were there for the bonus checks or the...
No. I just wanted to thank you. I just wanted to... I'm proud of you. Wow, you've come a long way.
Congratulations. My God, look what you've done. You did this.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I think I got one email like that from him and I saved it and I was like so giddy about it. And it's like, I think back now, like, why did I even give a shit what he thought? Why? Like, why did I let him have that much power over me? But I did. I mean, I had to do like a presentation in front of him by myself. And you remember how freaking scared I was. I mean, I was literally shaking, ready to puke on my shoes. And he's like, what's your problem? And, so I'm nervous already. And so I'm doing this presentation and, I keep saying it a lot because I'm not talking to my customer, my friend that I know that I see all the time.
That likes you.
Yeah. And he's like, you can't talk to a customer like that. I'm like, but this is how I talk to them. I ask them how their day's going. I ask them how their kids are. I ask them how their weekend went, what they did. Well, just get to the point. So okay. Quit saying, I've already counted 10 times you've said, Okay, well, when somebody points it out, then you just want to say it more because you're just on the spot. And so had it, whatever. Well, come to find out, everybody that went in after me, he let them know that I did the worst. And I was like, he didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me what I could improve on. He didn't tell me how to make it better. But he berated me in front of everybody else. So it's just, I don't know why I allowed myself to stay there as long as I did. Like I said, the money was good. The insurance was good. And it just sucks that we live in a world that is what seems to matter most. When I told everybody I was going to quit my job, well, you work from home. How hard is it? Can't you just stay on and just put your orders in and then do your business on the side? Because then you could at least have insurance. And I'm like, it's not the point.
Is it worth it?
The point is, like, I am sick to my stomach all the time because of this job. Like, I'm, the customers that call me that text me angry texts and, for things that are not my fault and I had nothing to do with. And I have to deal with that every single day. And then I end up taking it out on my family and my friends. And that's not worth insurance. I will gladly pay for my own insurance. I will scrape it together if I have to. Like, I'm not doing that ever again. So if you're in a similar situation, just know that it's not worth it in the end.
Do you have any regrets about working there or leaving there? I mean, you kind of just told me your regrets. You wish you would have gotten out of it. But,
I wish I would have gotten out of it sooner. But, looking back, I feel like, everything happens at the pace that it's supposed to. And I was able to get my business to a point that could support us, and I didn't feel as if I needed that money as much anymore. Would it make life a little easier? Yeah, it probably would, but not having to deal with that makes life even more easier. So I mean, I think literally the first week I didn't work there, I was on like a little high. I'm like, every day is amazing. And you just laughed. You're like, really? It is? I'm like, it is so amazing. Like, I am just so happy every day. I don't know how to describe it. I'm just, literally was like a weight had been lifted off, and I was like seeing through new lenses. It was just, I couldn't even describe it.
I'll say, do you still expand on that every day? Do you still think, it's Monday, I'm supposed to be sitting here for hours putting orders in? I mean, you tell me all the time that, what did I do? How did I get this other stuff done when I had all this other shit to do?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that when I quit, I'd have all this extra time, and I do, but it's being filled with things that I enjoy doing instead. If I want to go take the kids somewhere, I can, and I'm not constantly going, okay, well, I got to get back before cutoff time so that I can get these orders in, and these customers aren't pissed because their order's a day late. I'm not constantly looking at my watch or constantly looking at, I got these orders coming in. Oh, and it has no item numbers. It's going to take me an hour and a half to put in. I don't have to deal with that. And now with my business, I can actually do a complete thought. I can do a complete project without having to stop and get interrupted. And so, no, I mean, yeah, I regret not leaving sooner, but I think the time I did was the perfect time. I just regret letting him have so much power over me. I regret allowing that place to make me feel the way it did, because I let that happen.
Well, as I say, you were kind of powerless against it, really. I mean, if people listening or watching are in a thing where they're in a job where there's just like, I have no choice but to sit here and take this. The only thing I can relate it to is managers' meetings. They were just such a drag and waste of time. Not that I had a whole lot of other stuff I could have been doing, but it got to the point where it's just like everyone would go around the room. If you got anything to report, if you got anything new to contribute, you got any ideas. And most of the time it was just people just talking.
Just to fill the space. And when I came around to me, I tried to tell an interesting story or a joke or something like that. And most of the time it was taken as fun, but most other times people just looked at me like, let's go, dumbass. Let's get this over with. Yeah.
Like, well, why are we even here? What's the point?
Right. What's the point? Yeah, I think, if you have a business and you have employees, you need to cherish them. Well, first, you need to train them, like I was not trained. So if I'm not doing something, or I'm, doing something you don't like, then you need to tell me what I need to do to fix it. I was never, ever given, I think my last performance review was about a year into my sales. So after that, we were supposed to get them every year, but never did. We were also supposed to give our bosses performance reviews, but once I moved into the sales, we never did.
Would have fell on deaf ears anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, there's been people I worked with that spoke their mind to him and they were fired on the spot. And so it's, it was just, like I said, toxic. I wish I would have had a voice to be able to, say what I was thinking and feeling at the time. But a lot of people there, drink the Kool-Aid and they like their yearly bonuses, they
can take the
gifts.
Abuse.
Yeah, they take the abuse for that. And I did it for a long time. And
I mean, it's just like being in a relationship with somebody that continuously cheats on you, but comes back and you just love the smell of flowers because you're such an idiot you take that simple little gesture over the hurt and the pain from each continuous time that this person does it to you.
Well, how often did you tell me, Lani, you are in an abusive relationship? You are that abused woman that is afraid to get out. And it was like, it just clicked when you said that. I was like, oh my God, I am. And I feel like that's when I started to really make a plan. And that's probably 3 years ago when I started Party Dreams. Like, there's got to be something better. There has to be something better. And, you know, it's not for lack of trying, because I tried to find other jobs, but I wasn't willing to settle. And I mean, I could have just jumped and taken a job I wasn't excited about, but I figured I'll just stay here, deal with this shit once a month, whatever. And so regrets, yes and no. I don't know. I think, you know, bosses, owners, managers, you really need to take care of your employees. If you take care of your employees, they will treat it like it's their own, and they will do okay by you. But your employees are the front of the line. They are the face of the company, and they are the reason why your customers buy from you. So I don't know.
It's just funny that I think almost every business in America knows that. And it's amazing to me that this guy is still in business and operates completely on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, his numbers are getting smaller. I mean, the number of people in the company.
When I first started working there was over 300 people that worked there, probably close to 4. And when I left, after I left, it made 47 people working there. You know, we used to represent a lot of different manufacturers, and he got a lot of those manufacturers pulled from him, I truly believe, because of him. And so it made him very angry and bitter, which I can understand. But it made him, you know, come up with his own product lines and manufacture his own products to sell. And, you know, he just thought, well, everybody should just buy that shit right now. And I know they've never heard of it. They don't know anything about it, but they should buy it right now. And if you can't sell it to them, then there's something wrong with you. And, you know, he didn't get it. But this company is definitely changing. And when I went there for my last day, it was like, I'm glad I got out when I did.
I say, was there any big send-off?
No, he wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. I went and talked to the IT person so that I could wipe all my iPad stuff off so that I could purchase it back from them. But otherwise, I had nothing to turn in because they gave me nothing. I didn't even have a computer to turn in because I had to use my own. I didn't have a phone to turn in because I used my own. You know, we didn't get reimbursed for gas. We didn't get reimbursed for mileage. We didn't get reimbursed for our internet, our cell phone bill. Nothing.
I know there's probably people listening going, well, it's your own dumbass fault that you didn't leave, so I don't want to hear any more bitching about it. Yeah. Well, this is tough shit. This is our show, and this is what this is about. So
and it's real life. I think a lot of people stay in toxic environments way longer than they should. And trust me, I mean, I myself have been in abusive relationships where I should have left a long time ago and I didn't. But when that person that has that pull over you has, you know, just such this hold on you, and they've berated you and put you down so much, you literally feel like you're worthless. And I feel like I probably went into all of my interviews when I was trying to look for a job with such a beaten down attitude that I couldn't talk about how good I was doing, and I couldn't talk about how good of a salesperson I was. And
they say that's strongly unfortunate, because I can remember you going on those interviews, and I'm just like, hey, they're after you. Go in there and tell them, this is what I've been doing, this is what I got going on, this I'm number one sales, blah, blah, blah. But I could just imagine. I've
gotten told so many times how much I suck and how terrible I am and how I can't sell anything, and I'm basically a worthless piece of shit. So you start to believe it after a while. And it sucks that that's the way it is. And I think, I personally think men can take that a lot better, and they can turn it into motivation if somebody tells you suck, you can't do this, you're going to say, well, yes, I can. Where a woman's like, yeah, you're right, I can't. I'm just going to curl up in a hole and die. Like,
Yeah. Well, not all men and not all women react that way. I mean, I think with a lot of people, even the guy that was your quote-unquote boss, the guy above you, he started out that way. He started up here, but then just got berated and belittled and just, tick, 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 tick. And after years, he just got sick of it and ended up leaving. So it goes on both sexes.
Yeah.
Just depends on your personality, but yeah, after having it for so long, you believe it, or you just say, fuck this, I'm out.
And after our podcast with George Simon, I thought, yeah, I really did work for a narcissist. That was definitely, he had some definite character disturbances.
100%. So how long did you sit on the idea before making the leap? I mean, obviously you had a plan.
Yes.
People who are listening shouldn't just say, this is inspiring, I'm quitting my job tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then just be sitting there twiddling your thumbs going, oh shit, what am I doing now?
I mean, for me, it got to the point that I was not doing my job or my business well. I was forgetting to call people back in both places. I was forgetting to put in orders, because I was so overwhelmed. And I said, all right, I can't do both. I physically can't do both. So I am going to focus 100% on my job, and on my business, and I'm going to do the very bare minimum with this company just to get by, just until I feel comfortable to leave. And I think I probably did that for about 6 months. And then it got to the point where, I've been reading a lot about daily affirmations and about manifestation, and I said, all right, I'm going to pick a date. I just have to pick a date, and I'm going to put it on my calendar. I'm going to write it big on my calendar. This is my last day, and I'm going to be done then. And I'm going to put my notice in 2 weeks before that. And that's it. There's no turning back. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And, I was busy in my company, and I thought, we can do it. And even if we can't, I know we're going to figure it out, because we will. And I believe that, we have abundance coming to us, and it's going to all work out. So I wrote it big on my desk calendar last day. And 2 weeks before that, I put notice in, and, I told everybody I knew, this is what I'm doing, because I figure if I tell them, I can't change my mind.
You can't turn back.
So, and I had a lot of people, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this? It's money you're going to lose. You sure you want to do that? Those devil advocates, which everybody has them. And I, for once I didn't think, oh God, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. For once I was like, no, yes, I'm fucking doing this. Yeah. I've waited long enough. I'm overdue. This is what my family needs. And so I did it. I called. It was literally, I was again about ready to puke on myself, and made the phone call to tell him. And shockingly, he was pleasant about it and told me I was making the right decision. So in my eyes, I think that's the direction the company was going. I didn't think I would have a job much longer anyways. And he said, I started my own business, so I can understand where you're coming from.
Didn't he mock you some way?
Oh, yes. Yeah. He finished the conversation with, well, you only have about 6 viable clients anyways, don't you? Yeah. So, he's one, he couldn't just be nice about something. He would have to throw in a dig. But if that was his worst dig, I was okay with that, because I was prepared for a battle, because numerous other people have quit there before, and he has told them that they're going to fail and they're going to suck and they've made the worst decision of their life. And so I felt good that he didn't do that. I felt good, and immediately after I did that, it was like, holy shit, my whole life is about to change in the most amazing way. Like, I know we still have our hustle and bustle every day, but I literally can breathe now, and I couldn't before. I was just so stifled. So, you know, you truly have to have a good support system. So thank God I have you and my family. But it's possible. You can leave that shitty job. You can leave that shitty relationship, and you will come out better on the other side. It might not feel like it, and it might not happen right away, but you will. I promise you will, because
you want to.
Yeah.
Because you're not just waking up every morning, slap on the alarm clock, fuck my life.
Yeah.
You're thinking, all right, I'm going to go do this. This is me now.
Yep.
You know, I'm making the hours. I'm doing this shit.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, whether it's just going to work for a different company that appreciates you and values you, or going to start your own business, there's so many options out there, and the possibilities are endless. And, you know, like I said before, I truly believe in daily affirmations, you know, gratitude for things in your life, and manifesting a life you want. Like, I swear to God, it happens, because I read a book right before I put my notice in that allowed me to put it on my calendar and do all of that, called The Universe Has Your Back, by Gabby Bernstein, I think. I could be wrong. But she said, ask the universe for a sign, and the universe will provide it to you. You have to ask for a sign and tell the universe what sign you're looking for. I said, all right, universe, I'm asking you. And I know a lot of people out there will think I'm fucking crazy. And
because they've not tried it.
Because they haven't tried it. And after I tell my story, you'll have to tell yours. But I said, all right, universe, I'm ready to quit this job. I need to know that I'm making the right decision for me and for my family. And, you know, I'm not an overly religious person, but I believe in some greater power out there. And so I said, a heart. I need to see a heart. So literally I was driving over to my store and putting stuff away, and one of the boxes had a paper in the bottom, and it had a huge red heart on it. Well, of course, in my mind, I'm self-sabotaging. I'm like, well, that was too easy. That doesn't count. So that night, I'm sitting at my daughter's dance recital practice, and each of the kids, like, you know, my daughter's in 2 numbers. One of her numbers, they wear a tie-dye shirt. So there's all these different tie-dye shirts. They all look the same, basically the same type of pattern. Well, this one class comes out, and their tie-dye shirts literally have a heart in the middle. At that moment, I brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, oh, holy shit, this is really happening. And that was the time I said, all right, I'm putting on my calendar, I'm doing this, and it's right. It's meant to be. So you literally just have to ask for what you want, and it will come. Not without work, but it will come. What's your thing you ask the universe for?
I read The Secret.
Yes, that's an excellent book.
Excellent book, and you really just have to believe in it.
Trust.
Yeah, just trust the process. I should probably go back, and I've listened to bits and pieces of it here and there, but I really need to go back and read it and start that belief process over again. But I said, the next time I take money out of the bank, or I get money that comes to me, I want a $20 bill with one of the corners, the bottom left corner. If I'm looking at a $20 bill, bottom left corner, I want it torn off. I'm like,
because everything you read says when you ask the universe, you have to be specific.
Yeah, very specific. And in the book, it gives you a story about a guy that says, you know, if the universe is in my favor, if there is anybody listening, or the universe it is what it is, then I want this feather to be, well, whatever it was, a rainbow color, a specific feather that is like unlike any other feather on the planet. And he said one day he was walking out of a building and happened to look down in the city and sees this exact feather that he had talked about, dreamt about, and spoke of.
Yeah.
And so back to my story, you know, I said, you know, next time I get money, I want to see a torn off $20 bill. So I go and cash a check, and I pull out of the parking lot with the money in the envelope, and I'm like, you know, I hadn't thought about this for a week or two. So, you know, first time I'm cashing check, whatever, getting money. And I pulled all the dollar bills out, and there's a 20 in there with the bottom left-hand corner torn off.
Did it just give you chills?
And I'm like, I mean, I was
like giddy about it, kind of.
I was giddy. I mean, I was actually yelling in my car. You know, it's like people sing in their cars. I'm allowed to go, holy shit, what the fuck? And just start screaming and yelling, just like, holy cow. You know, I guess I should have taken it. At that time, I did take it as just like, this is it. This is a positive sign and blah, blah, blah. So I need to do it again. But it works.
It works.
It works.
The Universe Has Your Back and The Secret. Those are really, really good books. I highly recommend.
And it starts you on a train of positive thinking. If you're in a job or you're in a position and you're being belittled or you hate what you're doing or everything is just, God, it's like Fight Club when he's on the plane and he just keeps waking up, you know, and wakes up in another city, wakes up in another airport, his day is just like, I don't know if I'm alive or dead, I'm asleep or I'm awake. You know, if you've got that feeling, then, you know, read a couple of these books and start the positive thinking back up again and just feel it inside of you and just start to manifest things.
Trust the process.
It sounds freaking hokey. I know it sounds nuts. I go, okay, you're working with magic here. Okay, sure, whatever. But it works.
Mm-hmm.
So back to you. You've obviously moved on and you've chosen to work from home. You've gotten into a franchise with Julia, our sister-in-law, who started this whole company. And so what are some of the benefits from working in a franchise and working from home? And obviously I'm going to know the answer to this one. Everyone's going to know the answers, but how does it compare to what you were doing before?
You know, as far as workload, I would say it's totally comparable. It's still crazy busy. I'm, you know, answering Facebook and Instagram and text messages and voicemails and phone calls, you know, just it's constant all day, every day, which means a lot of people are trying to reach me, which is really cool. And I'm very happy for that. And again, it didn't happen overnight. It's been a 3-year progression. And, but it's something that I love, something I created and something I enjoy doing. So to me, it's not stressful in the same way that it was, you know. Yeah, I still get stressed when I've got to get this stuff ready for this party or this wedding and I'm not quite there yet. Yeah, I get a little stressed, but I'm like, well, at least I don't have to put orders in. At least I don't have to deal with a nagging customer because 99% of the customers I deal with are so kind and so pleasant and very enjoyable to be with and talk to. And, you know, I still get to meet new people and have those individual relationships with people, which I loved about my job. But I get to do it on my own terms, and I don't have anybody telling me that I'm not doing it right, or I'm not I have my own self telling me that sometimes, like, what the fuck did you do? But
small scale.
Yeah, it's a load off. I mean, today I, created a welcome sign for a wedding and met with a couple brides about their upcoming weddings, and it was like, this is cake. Like, this is a good life.
And it's only cake because you love doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and you've been on the other side. You've already crawled through the shit. Now you're just walking free in the rain and it's cleansing you and you're just like, oh, this is nice. I'm getting just as much as I did over here without all the crap.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a person. I like to be busy. I like to be doing stuff. Almost
to a fault.
Yeah, definitely to a fault. But when it's something that you enjoy doing instead of something you have to be doing, it's so much better. It's literally life-changing. I feel like we've been a lot better just within the last month. Just our communication and our, even maybe just since I decided to make this shift.
Yeah, I don't want to say you've lightened up, but you can definitely see you're not under this constant pressure. It was like someone was just compacting you, and I just feel like they're two different examples, but I felt like when you were in the other job, like someone was just like constantly pressure. And now it's just like, I don't care. Sure. You're just a lot more smiley. You're a lot more upbeat.
Yeah.
Not so quick-tempered, I guess. And it's totally understandable. You went from a fucking can crusher to someone not crushing your can. So,
yeah.
Any words of wisdom or advice to those listening to think they might want to get out of their rut or thinking of taking the leap? You kind of already touched on it a little, but
make a plan. I'm not saying say, okay, F this job, I'm quitting tomorrow. Make a plan, stick it out for 3 months, 6 months, and figure out how to change it. Read books, listen to podcasts, get that positive energy going, and get your support system and work your plan and make it happen, because nothing's going to change if you don't change it. So
let's say that reminds me of one of the guys I listen to quite a bit, and if nobody knows of this guy, his name is David Goggins, and he's a former Navy SEAL. I've brought him up numerous times before. But in one simple phrase or sentence, it's like life-changing. He says, no one's coming to save you.
Nope.
It's on you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the shit and you're going through a job, or you're going through this relationship, or you're going through whatever it is you're going through, it's up to you to change it. And no one is coming to save you. Your partner is not there, not put in your life to save you and get you out of the shit.
No.
They're there to help you and keep your head up, to keep your head out of it.
Support system, but
help
it's not
you
like
do
Lane could help me quit my job, or, that was on me. I had to be ready to do it. I mean, you could have said, I'll go take a job doing something, but that would just make you unhappy, and then I'm out of something that makes me unhappy just to put you in something that makes you unhappy. So I had to figure it out for myself, and that's fine.
And it took you a long time.
Yeah.
It took you a long time to see that light. I mean, it's,
yeah.
Oh my God, he is an abusive dick, and this is
not okay.
It's not okay. But we've already talked about all that. So what's the attack plan for Party Dreams Toledo? Or what is Party Dreams Toledo? What is it? What did it start out as, and what has it turned into?
Party Dreams is a company that my sister-in-law Julia started. She is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and she has Party Dreams by Julia. She started it and wanted to get me on board, and I was in the thralls of my job at the time, and I was hesitant, but I finally said, okay, well, this could eventually be something that I could get me away from my job. I've always wanted to work for myself. I just had no idea what I wanted to do. So we started with the birthday parties, decorating birthday parties and baby showers and things like that, and balloons and such. And it was doing okay. It was just side hustle. It wasn't a full time. And it was right about March of 2020 that it was like, oh my God, this is going to be my best month ever. I have so many events booked. This is just great. And then the world shut down, and I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like, I'm having to give all these people their money back and not making anything at my job right now because nobody's in salons. Like, what am I going to do? So thankfully, a friend of mine said, you do balloons. I said, well, yeah, but nobody's having parties. And she's like, well, what if you do balloon deliveries? Just drop them off at people's door for birthdays. Like, all right, I'll try it. I don't know who's going to want them, but so, put a post out there and it blew up, and that kept me busy from, March till about August, and was bringing in a good income. And then people wanted me to do yard signs. Well, all right, I'll figure out a way to do yard signs because, I'm a people pleaser and I don't like to tell people no. So figure out a way to do it. I started making my own. Then I got smart and found a supplier and ordered those. And now I've been doing yard signs for a year. And then during COVID, Julia decided to offer these wedding packages. And I was like, oh, I don't want to get involved in weddings. I don't want to deal with brides. That's not my gig. I'll just stick to what I'm doing. And so I kept watching her, and she's busy, and she's getting these other girls to do it and around the state of Ohio. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, I don't want to miss out. Like, seems really good. Seems to be doing well with it. seems like something we could do, and Lane could build the stuff for me. And so in February, I brought on the wedding packages, and within 2 months, I was able to get my own space outside of our home to store all of it, and not all the party stuff, but almost. So, I've got my space. I get to go there and work and meet with people and talk to brides and have appointments, and Lane gets to build the stuff for my franchise as well as the other ones out there. So he gets to do woodworking that he enjoys, and I see it growing. I see me running out of space where I am very quickly and needing a bigger space, and the sky's the limit. I enjoy what I do and just can't wait to see what else is out there.
So I see marketing plans, and you got to get a guy in the 419 to come to your shop.
Yes, I still need to get Pat out for sure. And, we're always looking to add franchises. So if you want to sell, an all-inclusive wedding package to people,
it's not a hard sell.
It's not a hard sell. It's a very easy sell. And, the best part is having these brides come in and tell me, oh my God, you saved my budget. Like, you're going to make my life so much easier. Like, as a people-pleasing person, that is the most amazing thing to hear. So, that makes me happy, and it's fun. So,
well, cool.
Yeah.
I know you'll kill it. You've already got the work experience. You already got the sales experience.
Yeah.
And you've said numerous times it's what gets you up in the morning.
It does.
Aside from them shitty workouts at 5 a.m.
I prefer like 7 a.m., but yeah, you just got to do you, because nobody else is gonna. So this is your life and you only get one. And I'll stop with the cliche quotes now.
I was going to let you go. Sound like you had a whole notebook full of them.
That's all I got. I didn't drink enough beers.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't drink tonight. I didn't want to interrupt any of your story. It's your story to tell. And I'm glad you told it. I didn't want to be Zach Galifianakis and between two ferns with you. I wanted everyone to know your story and appreciate how hard you work. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I'd love to hopefully get other people involved. We've already gotten another one of our friends involved in this business. And
2 now.
Yeah, 2. And, if I ever wanted to start a company, it was going to be such a thing to where the company would throw a big party at some point in the year just to show appreciation for all the other employees. Mm. And we're definitely not a company to where we're managing employees or anything. But
no.
It's kind of like a franchise setup. But it'd be nice to get all these people. I mean, Julie's already done it a couple of times, getting pictures for you guys and things like that. But that's the way I see it going. Yeah,
I mean, I will say the group of women that I'm surrounded with in Party Dreams, literally, they also keep me going because, I consider myself a very driven, motivated person. They make me look bad sometimes. Like, they are the most motivated, hustling, strong women I've ever met. And so to be a part of that group is also just amazing.
You got to surround yourself with positive people like that. Mm-hmm. So you have the same purpose and goals. So
yeah.
Don't know why you're with me.
Right.
Anyhow, we've kept all you long enough. Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully we didn't bore you too much.
Yeah. Watch the video on YouTube. It's Lane and Laney, not all the things with Lane and Laney.
It's not. I thought you fixed it.
I tried. We talked about that last episode.
I probably wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I wasn't aware that we were recording for YouTube, so I'm in my pajamas right now.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Thanks.
So anyway, thanks for watching and listening. And thank you for your time this time. Until next time.
See you later.